Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and wherever you are watching from. Thanks for tuning in today. I am going to be talking to you today about actually, I'm going to change my camera a little. I'm talking to you today about the brand new Hyatt Vivid Grand Island, technically is what it's called. Just opened up at the beginning of April. I just got back late last night from the resort after staying there for a week. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all different aspects of the property. But I did that wrong. Darn it. Download these properly. Okay, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. But what we are going to talk about today, and I will try to do this whilst I am talking to you, is some of the basics of the resort. So starting off with the basics. So there's two sides to the resort. And if you're looking at the photos, it is a little bit confusing because there is a Hyatt Vivid is on one side. It's sort of the side that is south of this two-part building, and that is adults only. And then, of course, there is the Dreams Vivid, which is being built, but that is obviously on the other side. So it's a little bit confusing initially, but anyways, we carry on. So what's going to be happening is approximately, they think about like later this year, the Dreams side should be opening. Now, I mean, they're not in a huge rush to get it done. There are still little bits and pieces that they're finalizing at the Hyatt Vivid. But for the most part, everything's pretty much set and done. One of the things that they do have to do is, so the tennis courts and the pickleball, those are not open yet. They're still building those. But like I said, they're also doing work on the other side, the Dreams side, and they're speculating that will be completed probably December of this year, or maybe even early into 2025. It just depends. And obviously it's also going to be dependent on if there's any storms or anything like that could cause delays. So, we'll just have to wait and see on that one, but it'll be quite interesting. I did ask, if they're going to have the cross exchange privileges. It's difficult to say because this is the first time we've had a Dreams and a Hyatt that are co-located. So, it's not really certain about what's going to happen. Also, I will say that they're kind of playing it by ear a little bit. So they're waiting to see what the reaction is from people, guests as they go. The beach club currently is for the Vivid side, and they're saying that it will eventually be for the Dream side as well. But it's difficult to say. Like they're not too sure about whether or not it's going to have whether the kids are going to be over at that one or not. Time will tell. We shall see. I'm missing one of these. I'm just going to go back and download it. Okay. And okay, let me get this done and then I can focus on you guys. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit easier if we have some topics that we can kind of talk through, but here we go. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover off today. So we've got a bunch of different topics. Oh, Angelo, hello. Oh, you bomb. Yeah, Angelo was off doing ziplining today. I met up with Angelo on the Wednesday, I guess, after we had just gone there. So it was interesting kind of, comparing things from his perspective, from my perspective. And then, what was kind of cool is that there were so many guests who had seen my video ahead of time. And so they quite happily came up to me, which was great because I got to hear what everybody was thinking about the property. Good afternoon, Roxanne. How are you today? Yeah, so it was neat, just hearing different people's opinions. There was, a couple of ladies who I was chatting with them. I think it was just like, oh, what's going on up at the rooftop or something? Because, it was everyone had FOMO. It was like if you're up on the rooftop, you wanted to know what was happening down at the pool because you couldn't see. It is an infinity pool up at the top, but hello, you're like 13 or 14 stories above the ground. So obviously there's a couple of barriers. So you could not see down to to the main pool. And conversely, if you're down at the bottom pool, you couldn't tell what was happening on the rooftop. So everybody's like kept traveling around and stuff and was wondering what's happening where. Hello, Irina, how are you? Irina's been messaging or commenting on some of the videos about different food items and stuff like that, which we'll talk about in a second. So yeah, we were, coming down the elevator and yakking to other people. Everybody was really friendly. That's the thing that I love about brand new resorts when they open, is that everyone is super chatty. And it's kind of like you're in this clique or you're in this club together where nobody really knows what's going on. And every once in a while, it's like, hey guys, this different lounge is open. Let's go check it out. So everybody's sharing information. But these one, two ladies, I said, oh, what do you think of the resort? And she's like, all she said is, I got words for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. That said, those were the only two people who actually spoke to me about anything that they didn't like. And I actually didn't hook up with them later on. So I don't know what exactly it was that they weren't too happy about. In one of the Facebook groups, there was somebody who complained about the fact that it was dead. Well, if your definition of dead is sitting in the lobby drinking with new friends until 1:30 in the morning, then yeah, I guess it was dead. But they were also complaining and saying you couldn't get booze before 11 a.m. You couldn't get booze and after 11 p.m., which is totally not true. The buffets. The last time we had breakfast, which was not yesterday, Monday, and I wasn't going to go for mimosa, and then I changed my mind. And the guy literally starts walking around with, you got a tray of mimosas because everybody's asking for one. And different flavored ones as well, sometimes pineapple juice, what have you. So everybody was enjoying the mimosas and stuff like that. So yeah. Also, one of the things that they did, they've realized with the design of the property that they're going to have to be a little bit creative when it comes to doing different things, such as where they're going to have active parties or noisy things, that kind of thing. And I think, oh, hello, Christine. Christine was actually staying across the street from me last week at the Iberostar, which we could hear your music every day from like 5 o'clock on. I'm pretty sure it was your property. But I'm curious what you thought of that property. Yeah, so one of the things that they surprised us with one day is they said, oh, we're going to have the show. I forget what it was downstairs, the aquatic show. And then they said, oh, okay. And then we've got a DJ who's going to play some music so you can go dancing and stuff upstairs on the rooftop, which is a perfect place for it because there were rooms in that area, but you couldn't hear what was going on upstairs. And so they were able to have music and stuff like that. So that went on until 1 a.m. And then, like I said, we met these two couples. They were absolutely wonderful people, and we just hit it off like crazy. So we were chatting with them and chatting with everybody at the property, right? But yeah, we'd be sitting there chatting and having a couple of drinks, whatever. But just yak. And then one time I looked at my phone and it was like, oh my God, it's 1:30 in the morning, time for bed. But suffice it that, it wasn't snooze land after 11 p.m. So let's go ahead and get started on some of this stuff. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but so the basics, like I said, there's 400 rooms. Something to know if you're coming here with other friends, not necessarily someone you want to share a bed with, is that there are only 55 rooms out of the 400 that have 2 beds in the room. Okay. So if you're okay to stay with a girlfriend or you're okay to stay with your guy friend, and you don't mind sharing a bed, then great. But if that's not so much, you specifically want to book the room that has the word double in it. If it's a king room, it's a king bed, and that's it. If it's possible for them to change, they will. But if you really need it to be one way or the other, that's the specific type of room you want to book. Same goes for whether you want ocean view or the lagoon view, and I'll talk about that in a second. So Roxanne, when are you going? I cannot remember. Did a great job, loved everything. Food was mediocre. Oh, shame. Well, but like you say, 219 until Hyatt Vivid. I think you are going to love it. Now, and I seem to be bringing this up every week, Christine and I have a shared hate for open concept bathrooms. Christine, I don't know what room category you booked, but in the Vantage Club Master Suite, I did film that. You can see there's sort of not a pony wall, but like one of those pull-out walls. So you can actually close off the entire bathroom area and have privacy. So that would be the one with the most closed bathroom. Alternatively, in the bathroom, you've got about a foot at the bottom and about a foot at the top that's clear glass. And the rest of it is frosted. Like you can vaguely make out figures, but that's about it. Same goes for the shower. Really can't see into it at all, can't see out of it at all. And you've got the entire bathroom is frosted glass as well. So, okay. And Roxanne saying goes, oh, July 22nd. Okay, that's coming up soon. And Vantage double bay view. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the view for a second. If you book a bay view which is lagoon view, the bonus is that you can see what's happening down below. So you can see what's going on at the pools, if there's activities, if there's movies playing, all of that. Also, you have the most amazing sunset view. However, I would highly recommend you to go to the rooftop pool area to see the sunset there. And the bar there was open until I think 7 p.m. at the rooftop pool. So you can always go up there and get a drink, no problem. Currently, they do not have food up there, but once they get higher capacity and all the staff are completely up to speed with all the different menu items and stuff like that, then I think very quickly we will start to see food up there and stuff like that, which is too bad because I know they have pizzas at lunch up there, or they're planning to, as well as smash burgers, and love me some smash burgers. Okay, so that was Lagoon View. So it's pretty good. And I did see how many rooms. I think I saw 3 different rooms on like 3 different floors that had the bay view. And it's a nice view. It is a nice view. That said, depending on which end of the building you are at, you might also have a view. You might also have a view of the ocean. So initially, I think the rooms were called Golf View or Bay View, but Golf View is also okay, I knew there's something missing there. Heading to the cenote. Great meeting. Yeah, it was great meeting you too, Angelo. And I will be hitting you up for more videos if I find that I've forgotten stuff. Cool. Sounds good. Enjoy your time at the zip lines and the cenote today. So yeah, on the other side, you are overlooking it's the Iberostar golf course. Hyatt Vivid guests can get discounted rates at the golf course. I didn't even ask because honestly, I don't even care. I do not golf. I don't think I probably ever will be able to. It's just not my thing. But yes, you can get discounted rates there. So nothing free, but discounted. So that's not too bad of a deal. So on that side, also you can actually see the lagoon. Can't see the sunset from that side, but you can see the lagoon. And on the other side, you can see the ocean. So you can actually look pretty much straight out to where the Cancun sign is, as well as you see the main road. You know what? I thought we had our room was on the 9th floor, and we were at the which end were we at? We were at the end that was, I guess it would have been considered closest to the Dreams property, and we could on occasion hear the noise from the vehicles going past, but not really. That end is a lot more quiet. So I think once I heard a police car or something going by, but that was like middle of the day, so it didn't matter. And that was really it. But you couldn't nothing kept me up. I mean, I could hear the music from the Iberostar, but other than that, no. And yes, the golf course view rooms, depending on what's going on at the property, at the Hyatt itself, it might be quieter actually on the lagoon side, I would say. But either side was very relaxing and calm. What's kind of cool is on the Dream side, they've built the pool. They're working on the swim up bar area, but they've filled the pools. So when you look over that way, yes, there's construction going on and stuff like that. We noticed it more so the first week than the second week. Honestly, I thought, Monday and Tuesday we would hear a lot of noise, and we didn't really hear anything. So, and I don't think it was a holiday. So yeah, there's a little bit of stuff going on, but overall, I didn't find it disruptive. But then there were other people who complained that it was. So maybe it just depends what exactly they're doing. And they are still doing some of the basics with that property. So it's going to be going on for a little while. But the hotel's being really good about where they're positioning people, and like I said, it didn't bother me. Should you request a higher floor? Okay, so here's how the rooms work. You've got what is it? There are exactly 5 rooms that are non-Vantage Club, and then 5 room categories that are non-Vantage Club, and then you've got another 2, 4, 6, 8 that are Vantage Club categories. And there's not really a whole lot different between them, other than the Vantage Club rooms have a tub in them, and they're on a higher floor. So Vantage Club is going to be 9, 10, 11, whereas the non-Vantage Club rooms are lower floors. So you're not going to get a basic room that's going to be up on the 9th or 10th floor. The entire floor is Vantage Club. The Vantage Club rooms also have the secret box. So if you order room service, but you don't want people to bother you, or you're getting ready and you're half naked or something, they can deliver it to this sort of little cubbyhole cupboard, which you can open from your side. So they can put the food in, close the door, and then you can come through a different door, open that up, and reach in and get your food. So that's kind of a nice feature, not available in the basic rooms. So that's kind of the main difference. Is it worth it or not? For me, it was, because it was like $20 more per night. I had just booked the regular, I think it was a junior suite. What did I book? Yeah, just a regular junior suite. And I booked Bayview because I thought, oh, well, that'll be nice, and I don't want to see golf. So, and then it was a couple, 2-3 months ago, and I was like, no, I want to switch it. I'm going to go Vantage Club. I knew that having arrived there like a month after opening, probably, not everything would be up and running, but there's pros and cons to that. When I looked at the price, the difference was $385 to $405. So for $20 more per night, 100%, it was worth it booking the Vantage Club. Yeah, Vantage Club Golf View. So it's golf / ocean view is an important thing to note. But just seeing those rooms, the first floor, technically 3rd floor, the first floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, I believe I saw, as well as the 5th floor, and then 9th floor as well. So, and so I've got 2 more videos coming out. Some of you have asked for honeymoon suites, and you want to see what those look like. I did film one yesterday. So I might actually have that. I might have that set up to come out later today. And then I've also got just a basic room. So if you don't care about the room and you're going to spend all your time outside, up on the rooftop or down at the pool, whatever, you can at least see what a basic room looks like. There's not a lot of difference between them. So specifically, the difference is going to be the views. I will also say, I should move this on too, because we're really talking about food and beverage kind of now, aren't we? Oh, I missed that one. That's one I missed. Oh, well, it's fine. So the Mediterranean restaurant is open in the evenings for dinner, but all the restaurants are pretty much on a rotating basis. The Italian is open every single night. It's super popular. The Japanese is also very popular, but it is not open every night. You can make reservations for these places, but you don't need to. We found that by the time Thursday rolled around, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there weren't any reservations available to be made. But of course, we know what happens. You know, somebody gets too much sun, somebody has too much booze, whatever. Your reservation for 7:30 all of a sudden is not something that you can achieve. So some people would switch to room service instead, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we waited. The first time we waited about 20 minutes for a table at the Italian. She just basically said, come back in 20 minutes. And the next time she said, come back in 45 minutes. And we came back in about 35. And she sat us right away. So that worked out really well. Only one we've ever been to, don't want to be disappointed. Is that the Hyatts? Not really sure what do you mean when you say the only one. I mean, there are, yeah, like I said, the Mediterranean restaurant is supposed to be open for Vantage Club guests for breakfast right now. It is not. And that's just an occupancy thing. You know, they're not at full occupancy, and they do that on purpose so that the staff can get used to dealing with a higher volume of people. So it's almost like each week they have a few more rooms that are opened up, and so that the staff can get slowly more used to that volume. You know, it's kind of like you don't open a retail shop the week before Christmas because, right? But if you, open it up earlier in the season, it gives the staff a chance to sort of ramp up and get used to the volume. So that's one thing that's not happening. Vantage Club, the lounge, that is open, and Carlos makes really does make the best drinks. Spicy margarita, yum. But he makes smoked drinks. He's got all kinds of have dehydrated fruit, so they use that for a lot of bespoke cocktails, that kind of thing. But there's some complaints that people who weren't Vantage Club were going in there. Now, I will say, towards at the end of my stay, in the evenings, one of the ladies was asking people about it. So it's it's all coming, and this is what will continue to happen. So the other benefit right now, for people who were we're going to the beach club, is all of the chairs were free, and now there's 4 bally beds, 4 on each side, where the 2 pools are located, the infinity pools. Those were complimentary, but now they have a charge, and they do it complimentary when the hotel first opened, because they know there's a little bit of hiccups here and there. But that was kind of a cool thing. At the main pool area, there are tons and tons of, the loungers are super comfortable. There's hammocks, there's sort of these nice double, almost like double beds, and there's also cabanas. And there's no charge for anything right now, but that'll probably change in the next few weeks, again, as they get to higher occupancy. Okay, so Oscar's saying, thanks for the videos. Okay, is there a way to get a free upgrade? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sure, ask, right? If you don't ask, you don't get. Give it a shot. Why not? You got nothing to lose. So, I don't know. Yeah, give it a try. I don't know. If it's possible, they probably will. Now, I will say that they're very good with the Hyatt loyalist. So if you have a loyalty program with World of Hyatt, then you can get upgrades through that. And also the UVC, the timeshare members, also were getting some different upgrades and stuff like that. So I think those are two groups that they would cater to more for complimentary upgrades. But again, just ask. So you've seen my room probably. Yeah, I thought the view was great. Tony is saying, I'd say that the Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana is under different management, which say I like this one as much. Okay. I will say that my favorite resort is still Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana. And the reason I say that is because it is right on the beach. I do prefer that. It has a massive gym that just feels like a playground for kids. And it's, it's just different with the beach and stuff like that. And the food was really good. The food has been really good here as well. So, when you say, is it better? It's definitely under different management, but to me, that did not make a difference. I thought the food quality was very good. I thought that the drink options were very good. Like, we're talking name brand alcohol, folks. This is, Tito's vodka, Belvedere, what were some of the other ones people were asking for? Like, they got it all. Don Julio is only for Vantage Club guests. But because of the servers, the bartenders, they do rotate around, and if they know your Vantage Club, they will take your glass, fill it up with ice, sneak it under the counter, and pour the little bottle of Don Julio that they've stashed up there for you, so you can get that drink. But they try not to make it obvious, because otherwise everyone's going to start asking for it, especially if it's a premium brand. So they're just different, but I thought I liked them both. Okay, Arya is saying, is there a section at the beach pool for Vantage Club? No, there is not. Will that change? I don't know. It's not a huge beach club. Like, there's tons and tons of space, loungers areas down on the beach. And it's well set up. They've almost done, tiered levels, with like retaining walls sort of thing. So there's lots of chairs, lots of umbrellas, so you can get shade. That's not a problem. But I couldn't even think where they would put a Vantage Club in. I don't think that there would be a section for that. People were also speculating if the rooftop pool, the longest rooftop pool in Cancun with 360-degree views, people were speculating if that would become Vantage Club. In my opinion, it would be review suicide to do that. I mean, not that we haven't seen resorts make some really bad decisions in the past, but no, I did not get that impression, because it's one of their key selling points. So if they have it limited, and the Vantage Club lounge is not very big, so just functionally, it wouldn't make any sense at all. Mima is asking how about the construction noise. We heard more last week, drilling on the concrete and stuff like that. Didn't really bother me. And then, like I said, Saturday didn't really hear much of anything. Sunday, no construction. And then Monday and Tuesday, kept waiting for it to start up, and either they'd finished whatever they were working on that they were banging on the first week that we were there, or they just moved on to something else. I really don't know. But really didn't bother me. And honestly, we stayed a week. You guys know we stayed a week at the Sandos Cancun a week before that, which is not under construction. And yet, things happened. Like there's this group of people that were sitting on one of the cabana beds and it broke. So out come the drills, they're taking it apart, they're fixing it up, putting the frame in and stuff like that. So, anywhere you go, there can be a bit of noise, but it wasn't excessive at all. Tony saying, I've already looked at prices, not gonna lie. I am curious to see what, okay, let's move on to some of these things here. I'm curious to see what it will be like when everything's up and running. You're welcome. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. Why did I say the crowd levels will be and which options for entertainment? Oh, July 4th? Oh, wow. Well, look, they were really trying to get the pottery things going when I was there, but they're bringing people in for that. So it's outside vendors that they're, negotiating contracts with and all that kind of stuff. But it was part of the issue, but they were hoping to have it this past week. If they're hoping to have it, and this is the week of May 6th, or May 8th, call it, that's 2 whole months away. So I would say they'll probably be much higher so right now they've got about 50% of the rooms open. And I would say that by that point, they'll probably have 75% of the rooms open. Options for entertainment. Look, while we were there, they had movie night. They played that new movie, Godzilla versus Kong or something like that. A couple of weeks ago, they played Dune 2. They had like Cirque du Soleil type dancers come in doing like the aquatic show over the pool, which was pretty impressive. They had another show one night. Saturday night, there was this big boxing match. So they brought out like this big screen, like, I was like 8 feet wide or maybe 10 feet wide. I don't know. And like 8 feet tall. And they were playing the boxing match on there. So they're hooked up with the satellites. So as far as that goes, they can do it. And then, like I said earlier, they're trying so hard to give great service, and the reviews have been hit and miss. I looked at Google and I was like, okay, what is going on here? And it didn't make sense to me that you've got 5-star, 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 1-star, 1-star, 5-star, 5-star, 1-star, 1-star. It's like normally people go somewhere in the middle. So to see those extremes, I read that and I went, these are fake reviews. But when we got there, a lot of people felt the same way. They were kind of freaked out by the reviews. And then when we got there, and asking around, oh, what did you think of this? Well, what did you have for dinner last night? How was it? And people were honest, especially with me. I got no skin in the game. I'm not paid by Hyatt to do this stuff. I paid to be there. I paid as much. Actually, I paid more than a lot of people, because half the people that were there were either part of the timeshare thing, or they were getting free upgrades because they were like Hyatt people, or they have a Hyatt credit card, which I don't even know if I can get because I'm a Canadian. But I do really like the Hyatt brand, whether it's just city hotels or all inclusive. So I'm thinking I might try to check that out. Anyways, Shivam, sorry, meandering on the conversation here, but so July 4th weekend, yeah, I'm sure they will have a big party. They did a party for Cinco de Mayo, which is something that the AMR chain, or the what is now the Inclusive Collection by Hyatt, Dreams, Secrets, Breathless, that kind of thing. Those resorts have always been really good at doing fun things like Cinco de Mayo parties, Super Bowl parties, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead parties, that kind of thing, Halloween parties. So yeah, they'll kick it up for July 4th for sure. Yeah, so I don't think you're gonna have a problem. Oh, and like I was saying earlier, some people were complaining about it being really quiet at night and that there was nothing going on after 11 p.m. So problem solved. Let's bring in a DJ and keep the bar open. So they did that one night. And they seem to kind of do that almost every night thereafter. So the rooftop bar was open until 1 a.m. with a DJ. I would say that majority of the people that were there were more interested in talking than they were interested in partying and dancing and stuff like that. So it's just going to depend week to week which people are there. Irita's saying she went to Secrets Tulum in December. Oh, didn't have good alcohol at the beach club. Well, that's interesting because at the beach club for the Hyatt Vivid, I mean, they had everything. So yeah, the super high end alcohols, like the vodkas and stuff like that. I remember I was sitting there having lunch and somebody was commenting on my videos and saying, oh, do they have this? Do they have that type of alcohol? So I just went looking. They had, they had different kinds of cognac. I don't drink a lot of hard liquor, so it was hard for me to sort of take note of. But my husband would drink gin and tonic. Every single time he ordered, they would ask what kind of gin did he want. Did Tanqueray, Beefeater. They even had like 3 different flavors of Beefeater gin. That was at the Vantage Club lounge. I don't recall if they had it at the beach club, but at the beach club for sure, they had like Belvedere vodka, Grey Goose, Cheetos. So yeah, they pretty much had all the top end alcohol. It got to like actually a few of the guests and I were talking, and it was like you kind of had to manage your intake because they were pouring like good portions. So you almost kind of want to say like that you want a light drink because otherwise you're hammered by lunchtime or mid-afternoon. And it's like, oh, time for a little disco nap. Vancouver is great for beautiful beachfront, decent food, and has dancing. Excuse me. It's a good question. Probably, that would be Secrets Divine, I would say. I mean, Hyatt Ziva Cancun also is a good option. Yeah, those would probably be my top 2 choices. The Fiesta Americana Condesa is also, that one's an interesting one because it's kind of an outlier in that it's got different types of food, like just different restaurants and stuff like that. Like this one was interesting because it had the Mediterranean restaurant. So you'd sit down, and every time you sit down at these places, they bring out something. So the Mediterranean restaurant, you would sit down and they would bring some little pita chips as well as some hummus and some baba ganoush. And then at the Mexican restaurant, so this is for evening dinner, the first thing they bring out is this little bowl of queso fundido, which is like a Mexican baked cheese with chorizo in it. At the Italian restaurant, they did focaccia with oil and balsamic vinegar. And at the French, I forget what they did at the French, but there was something. Yeah, so, something at each one. So, yeah, something for everybody. Did they have many mocktails? Okay, they didn't really have a list of like a menu for their drinks. So you would just ask for what you wanted. But I did hear people saying that they wanted a pretty drink with either alcohol or no alcohol or a specific type of alcohol. And also like sweet or not too sweet, more sour. And sometimes people would say like not too sweet, but no grapefruit juice is one. And for anybody who's on certain types of medication, or maybe peach, maybe you don't like that flavor. So they're very creative. And I understand that the kitchens are a little bit limited in, yeah, they do, Oscar. I'll get to you in a second. The kitchens are a little bit limited in on the menus. So right now you can go onto the Inclusive Collection app. You can pull up the restaurants once you're in each restaurant, that part of the app. you can actually pull up the menu so you can see what is available. That said, the restaurants are more limited. So if it's got 15 things on the menu online, you might only see 10 on the menu when you actually get to the resort. And part of the reason for that is just, again, so that the kitchen staff can get up to speed. The management are watching them like hawks. So they want to make sure everything is being done correctly. Service levels are as expected. And they want the place to be coming out looking the same each time. So until they kind of can get up to speed on a more consistent basis, that's when they will have more stuff available. That said, the bartenders, I think they brought bartenders in from other places, because learning how to mix cocktails, if you want to be fast and good at it, you kind of need to know the basics of it. So you're probably not going to hire you straight off the street, never having worked as a bartender before. So that said, they were quite good at being creative and mixing whatever you wanted up. So and they would totally suggest stuff for you. It was like, do you want a margarita? Do you want a daiquiri? Do you want a pina colada? Do you want gin and tonic? Do you want? They had like everything. Negronis, Kingston Negroni. So yeah, a little bit of everything. Was it for the beach ride? I to that would say no. Next question, do you need a reservation for the beach ride? To that, I would also say no. The reason I asked is so Angela, who's on here earlier, it was funny because I think Thursday we decided to go to the beach club, go check it out. And I tried to make a reservation. They said the earliest we could do was 11:30, and I didn't want to get there for the peak sun hours. I wanted to get there a little earlier. So I said, okay. And I had to go into the grocery store down the street anyways. So I said, okay, well, we'll walk to the main gate and then we'll get on the bus, hop down to the 𝖢𝗒𝖾 and then get the bus back up there and then go into the beach club. But they have a wristband that you have to wear, and it changes color each day because they don't want people coming in from other resorts. So you have to go to the front desk and get that wristband put on before you leave. Okay. So pro tip. Okay. So that said, so my husband and I, off we go, walk up to the main street, which took about 20 minutes. We did walk the whole way to the beach club. That takes about 40 minutes. I actually would not recommend that unless you're pretty fit and prepared to get a little bit of heat stroke, because it's a hot walk, and definitely take water with you if you do decide to torture yourself with this. But otherwise, as I said, we couldn't make a reservation until we couldn't get a reservation on the beach bus until 11:30. But Angelo, he walked down at 10 a.m. and he got on the bus. So like I said, people's plans change and they just don't show up for things. So the bus does only accommodate 18 people, but it seems to be working right now. I think, everybody I spoke to is speculating that once you get on later in the once it's been operating for a while, most likely they will bring on additional buses, because there's not too many going right now. But if you want, you can go, you can hop on the local bus or you can get an Uber. And I've got a pro tip about that towards the end. Yeah, the Uber was 70 pesos. So it was like $4. Can't go wrong. Oscar wants to know if they have dark beer. They have, what did they have? They had Coors Light. Excuse me. They had, they didn't have Corona. They had Dos Equis sometimes, some bars. The rooftop bar almost always had Dos Equis. They had Tecate Light and they had Indio. So I think Indio would be closest to a dark beer. They didn't have any craft beer. That's something we've seen at other, certainly the Hyatt Ziva and Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun, Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, when they first opened, and they weren't part of the Inclusive Collection by Hyatt. They were actually part of Playa Resorts. But they since switched over, and they did have some craft beer there and also some seltzers. which is kind of nice. But here it's a little bit more mainstream. But certainly, you know, any kind of cocktail you could want. And like I said, they did the dehydrated fruits and stuff like that. So as far as those kind of cocktails, yeah, definitely. One of the fellows that we got chatting with, he drinks Corona Extra, which they didn't have at the property. And so we were going to the grocery store anyways to get some souvenirs for folks back home. And came around a corner and it's like, oh, there's all these 6-packs of Corona. And it was like, I don't know, 100 pesos or something. So we picked one of those up for him. Funny enough, they'd been out that day as well. Then he'd picked up a 6-pack. So he was well stocked up. So if you're going this week and you want a Corona Extra, I think there's still a couple that are in the Vantage Club lounge if you are so inclined. But yeah, if you go to the Soriana, which is in the Luxury Avenue Mall, it used to be called Plaza Cuculcan, or right downtown where the Coco Bongo is and stuff, there's a select 𝖓𝗇𝗒𝖾, and you can get stuff there. Good question. Would I recommend the hotel now or advise to wait because some of the things aren't at full capacity? If you accept that they're going to not be fully operational and you're okay with that, it's a scale. On the negative side, not everything's working, right, or operating. So the Mediterranean restaurant, not open for breakfast. The rooftop Japanese restaurant, which is just a grill for lunch, not open. On the positive side, you know, all the chairs are free. You could get up at 11 or 1 after you come back from your excursion. You could still get a lounge chair and in a very good location. One morning, there's not so many seats up at the rooftop, but one day it was like 11 o'clock. Finally, I finished doing my videos and editing and whatever else. And 11 o'clock, we finally end up going up. And we thought, well, we'll go up there for a little bit. And we got a chair right away. 2 down from the bar, which is a pretty good location. So I like going to resorts when they are first open. And what's interesting is there were quite a few other people who also mentioned it, that they specifically choose that, A, because it's way cheaper, B, because everything's brand new, and C, you know, they understand that not everything's going to be up to like all the activities are going to be happening and stuff like that. But I think on comparison, the staff try much harder to make sure that you're happy. So it's a lot more personalized service. They get to know you by name. They know what you like I said in one of the posts earlier today. Eduardo was one of the most amazing servers that we had. He was at the Mediterranean restaurant for lunch the first day that we got there. And then he was there at the buffet breakfast the next day, knew our names. We went to the first day that we had gone there, I wanted the sea bass. I'll give that a try. And I asked how big the portion was. And he said, oh, you know, it's not too bad. And I'm like, I quickly learned that I needed to say, can it be small? And so he brings the fish out and it was pretty big. And my husband's just laughed at me. He's like, you're not going to finish that. And he said, that's a half portion. I'm like, what? That said, there were other people who were ordering 2 main courses because, you know, I mean, they weren't drinking, this other couple, not really, but they were eating and they were both fit people. So, you know, I guess they just got higher metabolisms than I do. But yeah, they would order a couple of appetizers and then they would each order 2 main courses. And that was just not a problem. I was asking for I wanted a beef fillet, asked for the smallest steak in the house. No problem. They got it. The last day, we went to the Mediterranean restaurant for lunch. It was mahi was the catch of the day. And Eduardo sees me and he's like, oh, we have mahi, but he says, I know you like salmon. He says, let me see, which is wait, let me go check, see if I can get you it. Now, it turns out that he couldn't get the kitchen to do salmon for me, but I was kind of like, well, I kind of want to try the mahi anyway. So that worked out fine. And I just said, oh, and can you make sure he's like, I know, small portion for you, Christine. I'm like, okay, this is like, I was impressed. Okay, Mima's also saying, pottery, comment place of locals, or cacao vent. Oh, this yoga is painting becoming more consistent. Okay, now on the yoga and the aqua cycle, what's happening is they are working with a company that has instructors for these things. And so what I mean by that is the what's happening is people are booking in as guests. I think they get a discounted rate. I'm not really sure how it works. But certainly if you're a yoga instructor or something like that, you should definitely check into it, because if you can go and stay for less price, but you have to do the yoga classes every morning, I mean, giddy up, right? So the yoga stuff was happening pretty consistently the second week, or the second, as of about Saturday. Obviously the person had arrived, and she actually posted in one of the Facebook groups. And also there was somebody who was there who was doing the aquafit, the in the pool cycling classes. The pottery stuff was a separate vendor that they were bringing in. So that's tricky. Cacao event, I totally missed. I didn't even know what was happening. That was on the Wednesday, I think, last week. And I saw it, but I was busy walking around with Christian. He was a social media guy who was showing me all the different room categories. So no, I didn't get a chance to do those things. But I mean, they've been open a month. Naomi was saying disappointed. It didn't say the hotels would be fully open. Yeah, well, they announced that they were going to be opening on April 1st, but I'll be honest with you, no resort ever opens as a grand opening on opening day, especially when it's a new build. It would open as called a soft opening. And then about 3 or 4 months later, they'll actually have the official grand opening, and they'll bring in all the big wigs and stuff like that. They will bring in a bunch of travel agents to see the resort, and that's when it'll be fully operational. But when a resort first opened, I mean, I've been to at least 4 resorts in the last 2 years just after it opened, and none of them do the full opening right away. And that's just to be fair to the staff, and also to ensure that you're going to have a good guest experience. Because even if they're seasoned staff, they're people who've worked at, like, let's say they pulled them from one of the busy resorts in Cancun, like the Hyatt Vivid Cancun. They could pull the staff from there to the Hyatt Vivid, but Hyatt Vivid's doing things slightly differently. The kitchen's in a different place. The utensils are located in a different place. So all of that's going to cause some hiccups. So yeah, that's why a lot of tour operators don't even sell new properties until they've been open for 3 or 4 months. So yeah, Irata says, yeah, always look to book new resorts. Yeah, I like it because, like I said, you have more space to yourself. I mean, literally, I've gone and then I come back like 2 months later to the same property. I've done that twice now. And it's like, well, who let all these people in? Like, seriously, I got to fight for a chair. Come on. So it is nice when it's first opened to have that extra space as well. You're getting the introductory rate, so you're paying a lot less. And, the service is just, really, really good. Okay, I want to talk about the secrets that nobody knows. Okay, so, do I think that Dreams will open in September? No, I don't. I think it will be later in the year, and I think that, yeah. Could it open in September? Yes, 100%. If they wanted to open it next week, they probably could. They would just bring in a bunch of workers, and they remember when they had that sinkhole on the way to Playa del Carmen, and they literally had to divert the highway because of the sinkhole had taken out there's only one road, and the sinkhole had taken it out, so they had to divert the whole highway around it. That was done in 2 days. Here, that would take like 6 months. No, actually, I've seen it. We've had so many bridge strikes with truck drivers who forget that they lifted up the back of the dumpster before they drove through the under the bridge or the overpass. So they've destroyed those. And those have taken months and months and months to fix. So no, in Mexico, if they want something done, they can get it done in no time at all. Very hard workers. Oscar, oops, did that in the wrong order. Okay. Arriving a day early. Do I think arriving at 9 a.m.? Okay, Angelo, I want you to answer this if you watch this again later. But I know you were there early. When I changed hotels, checkout at the other property was at 11 a.m. noon. I got a taxi. I got into an Uber and went over to the Hyatt Vivid. So 9 a.m. I know there were people that were there that did. Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's a little bit cheeky because check-in time is 3 p.m. But they know that everyone's excited to get there. So yeah, but Angela was staying over at Breathless, Riviera Cancun, and I think he came over quite early as well. We both arrived on the Tuesday, April the 30th. And then you're asking on the last day, what time do you think you can be there without problems? So our flight yesterday, 7:45 p.m. leaving Cancun, 7:45 leaving, not 7:45 getting home. So we left the hotel about 4 o'clock and it was just no problem. And honestly, other than resorts where I've stayed at where they're a combination of EP and AI, so EP being European plan, which means nothing's included, and an AI, which being all inclusive, when it's a combo resort like that, then sometimes you can run into the only issue you really have. They don't care if you use the pools. You usually don't care if you use the towels. What they do care about is that you got to get out of your room. And if it's one of those situations where it's a combo resort where some people are paying for all their food and drinks and other people have it included, is usually at checkout. All right, when the checkout time is, that's usually when your all-inclusive privileges will end. Okay, so you could stay, but you would have to pay for drinks. Any place that we've been to that is a regular all-inclusive, and we've been to tons, and because we're Canadian, our flights are always later in the day or later in the evening. I've always stayed late. Never been a problem. And like I said, I was there yesterday until 4 o'clock. So that was good. Does Vantage Club come with an early check-in? Let me double check my little fact sheet here. No, I don't think so. Okay, personalized check-in and check-out. So you do that at the Vantage Club Lounge. Vantage status and amenities, whatever that means. Complimentary access to the spa's hydrotherapy circuit once per stay. Now that's going to be on the Dream side. So that spa, that's not going to happen for another 6 months or so. Upgraded bath amenities. What was the difference? I thought it was the same toiletries. I know we had a funkier TV remote. The TVs in the Vantage Club rooms, actually in all of the rooms, are smart TVs. So you can stream or you can cast to them. So if you want to watch YouTube, like if you want to watch my videos, no, just kidding. But you could. But if you want to watch some YouTube videos or something, you can cast that through the app directly onto the TV. It was a little bit tricky to figure out. So I did do a video on that. It's not super sexy or super exciting, so that'll come later on, but whatever. And then you've got the soaking tub in the bathroom. Oh, pillow menu. I didn't ask about this and I didn't see any information about this, but we honestly thought the beds were amazing. And the pillows were very comfortable as well. And then of course you've got the private, they call it a Vivid box for the room service delivery, as well as the private Vantage Club lounge. And then of course you've got the, they do have the food and snacks throughout the day in the Vantage Club, as well as you're supposed to be able to go to the Mediterranean for breakfast, but that won't happen until it's been open for a little while longer. And then also, of course, you've got the better views because you're on the higher floors. Yeah, hot tub in the room. I can figure out how to use it. Truly, like, I'm not a bath person anyway, so maybe that was just an obvious thing that I didn't know what to do. But I'm sure someone will figure it out. But yeah, not a huge amount of differences between the Vantage Club. But again, if you want those views, That's the higher floors. And again, like I said, in my case, it was a difference of $20 a night. And so to go from lagoon view to, or sunset view, to sunrise/ocean view, no brainer. Okay, so what I wanted to also tell you about is, and Oscar, this is something to take note of. Obviously, we all know that when you are driving around, or when you're getting a ride in Cancun area, you can have options of, you can either do a private shuttle, or you can do a taxi, or you can do an Uber. And normally with the Uber, they can't come onto the property. So you have to, like, for example, at the Santos Cancun, we had to drag our bags down to the main road, which is not a big hardship. It was like 60 feet or something. But it's just something you had to do. You could just wait in the lobby and they would drive up. At Hyatt Vivid, they let you do that. So like I said, from where the hotel is located, there's a pretty lengthy road to get to the main entrance, and that's where the main road is, Avenida Tulum, I think it is, or Kukulkan, and 20-minute walk. So I didn't want to be hauling my luggage all that way, because in that heat, I mean, I think I would have died. But we had heard this other couple that we met, they went the day before to Plaza La Isla, and they got a Uber right from the hotel to the mall, did their shopping, had some lunch, and then they took an Uber back. Now, getting back, again, that's never a problem, because they're allowed to come in if they're dropping you off. But most properties, most resorts won't let the Uber driver come in to pick you up, but they do at the Hyatt Vivid. So prior to departing for the, oh, excuse me a second, bit of a runny nose. Prior to our departure, I looked up to see how much a shuttle was, because I knew we'd booked a one-way shuttle to get from Cancun Airport to the hotel, and I forget how much that was. But looking at it for the return to go home, it was going to be $70. I inquired about a taxi, and they said, and I asked a couple of different people, and they said that would be $45. Then I found out about the Uber. So we went with the Uber option, and that cost us $14. Kind of a no-brainer. So, I think that that's a really cool thing. And I did mention it, thank them for allowing that, because it just makes a huge difference. And if you're going to save $30 on these different trips, like we took the Uber in to go take the train Maya, and that's a whole separate video. Yeah, that was a day. Anyways, the train is great. There's just some like hiccups getting to the train and getting out back from the train. But that is going to be an amazing service, I can tell you. So yeah, but if you can save money here and there, instead of spending like $45 on a taxi, if I can literally spend a third of that price, it just means I got more money to splash around the resort or to buy souvenirs or whatever. So yeah, it was a cool little thing. And then, like I said, if you're Vantage Club, if you have a specific drink that you like, the bartenders are so good. If you drink Dos Equis, then if you go to that bar more than once, they're going to have it for you. Same thing if you drink Don Julio and Anejo or Reposado, they will have it there for you. So the service was great. I mean, there were times that the service was on the slower side, but in mind, like, I got nowhere to be. I got nothing to do. And that was just them, getting used to things. There was times that you did hear some construction, but, again, it wasn't like constant. The decor is very minimalistic. Concrete. Like, when have you stayed in a hotel room that's got a plain concrete wall? And that was just an accent of it, but somehow it all worked. Again, very minimalistic style, but they use a lot of wood, and all the roofs the rooftop, or not the rooftops, but the ceilings, they were usually with bamboo, and it actually worked really well as sound dampening. So you could have a bunch of people yakking and laughing and stuff like that and having a good time, but there wasn't that, echoing, perpetuating throughout the room. It didn't make it sound like you were at a sports bar or something. It was comfortable. So, I mean, what else? We didn't order room service, but other people did, and they said, it was good. It came out, wasn't piping hot, but room service kind of never is. But the one fellow, Jeremy, put the order in, and he hit send through the app to do the ordering. And 2 seconds later, the phone in his room rang, and they said, "Oh, sorry, you forgot to put down how you want your eggs done." And so he's like, "Oh, okay, well, da, 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 da." Or he just told them, and they took care of it. So yeah. So yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. And then the minimums. Like I said, it worked. What was cool though is every restaurant had different glassware and different types of chairs. The chairs everywhere, I found them to be very comfortable. A little bit, some people will say they're too hard, but I like it when they're firm and you don't sort of, they were comfortable and supportive. You didn't feel like you were sitting in a beanbag or something. Yeah. And then and you definitely have to try the taco truck. The taco truck, the gringa taco. Oh my God. It's sort of like they put one taco down and then whatever meat you want and cheese. And then they put another flour tortilla on top, and then they flip it over, and then they cut it sort of like a quesadilla, but such flavor. And especially they'll do the tacos al pastor, which is like the pork with pineapple, and some spice in there as well. But you could it's almost like Subway, where you could say, okay, can I have more of the cabbage, the pink cabbage, or more serrano peppers, or more sauce, or whatever. So they did it like however you wanted, which was really cool. So would I go back? Well, I've already looked at prices, so there's your answer on that one. Would I recommend it for people who want to party? Nope. This isn't a breathless. It's not trying to be, not going to be. I think it's great for friends traveling together that you just want to reconnect, but aren't necessarily looking to dance every night and stuff like that. I think it's perfect for couples. Angelo was there by himself. He's making friends with all the hotel stuff. He knows everybody's name. Like, it's very impressive, and I wish I could have that kind of recollection, but he's by himself and he's having a good time. That said, again, earlier at the time, like we were at Hyatt, we were at the Santos Cancun for a week, and we talked to another couple like once on the second last day, whereas at the Hyatt Vivid, I mean, seriously, everybody's like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Oh, did you see how they did that? And oh no, oh my God, this was amazing. So everybody's sharing and stuff like that. So earlier in the trip, it's you're welcome. Early when a resort's first opened, it's a different experience, not only what you're experiencing with the hotel, but also with the other guests. It's much more interactive. So I quite enjoy that. So I am going to do a more concise review of the hotel, and I've got lots of B-roll. I'm even going to get some drone footage as well. Thank you in advance to Christian for that. So do stay tuned for that. I've got 2 more room videos coming out. I've got the honeymoon suite as well as the basic suite. I'm going to do a food review. So I'll show you a bunch of different pictures of the food so you can see what it looks like, see what you think of the portions. And then what else? I'll have to see what else I've got. Oh, the gym. And then also just the beach club. I've got a whole separate video of the beach club, but I also went live from there as well as just from the main resort. So you can check those out if you want to have a look around. And as you know, I do try to answer all the questions. So if you have a question about something that I tried to show you, but maybe I missed it, whatever, just jot down in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer it if I can. So thanks very much for tuning in today. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button and Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit that down thumb. I don't care. I mean, it's all good. It all helps out the channel. It just shows YouTube that you care. And then also, if you are interested in getting a little bit more in-depth information, we do have memberships now, so you can get more behind-the-scenes content, some of the more premieres, advanced views of stuff like that. So yeah, there's a few different levels available. So tune in again next week, going live on next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. And yeah, we'll share with you what else is new. But thanks for tuning in today. Again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any other questions, jot them down below. I will get back to you, I promise. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.